Go ahead. Make my day.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, we're going to be continuing my series of Dirty Harry reviews with the fourth entry, which is Sudden Impact. And guys, before I delve into anything, I am going to be having some spoilers in this video of the film and some of the plot elements. So if you haven't seen the film, you know you want to, and you don't want to be spoiled, go check the film out, and then you can come right back here, and then we can talk all things Sudden Impact. But without further ado, let's talk Sudden Impact. After being sent on mandatory leave, Inspector Harry Callahan happens upon a string of murders with seemingly no connection. But as he digs deeper, he finds all the victims share a connection to a disturbing crime long since covered up. Meanwhile, local artist Jennifer Spencer catches Harry's eye, while mobsters trail close behind. Will Harry be able to uncover the truth, or will his latest case spell his end? So one of the biggest things about Sudden Impact is the fact that it was just the largest gap between entries. The last one, which was 7 years rather prior to this, was The Enforcer, and totally different decade, and different feel, different look. And in this one, we ended up getting the only entry directed by Clint Eastwood himself. And the thing about it is that it had a return to form. Lalo Schifrin was back doing the score, but also it brought it back to those gritty roots of the first original film. But to be honest, it took it to even more depths and more violence and more graphic nature, a lot more grittier of a reality. And the thing about it is that this specific movie does not shy away from the violence or the disturbing factor. It is the most gruesome as far as, subject matter and everything is concerned for any Dirty Harry film, but it's also one of the ones that has the most famous quotable line in it as well too, and a lot of different instances and everything like that in here, which is "Go ahead, make my day," like I said in the intro. Everyone seems to quote that left or right, no matter what it is. They're always going to that one first, usually out of the Dirty Harry kind of repertoire of quotes. And then right behind that is his whole spiel that he gave to the bank robber in the first film. Speaking of which, if you watched all of these films up until this point, you notice one of the actors, Albert Popwell, has been inside of each of the films in some capacity as a cameo or an appearance. First film, this dude was the bank robber that got shot and actually had that talk with Harry about, did I fire 5 shots or 6? Well, in all this excitement, the rest of it. In the second movie, he was actually the pimp that killed his prostitute with Drano, putting it down her throat in Magnum Force. The third one, he was Big Ed Mustafa, running the VFW, the Very Few Whites barbershop. And then in this one, he plays Harry's partner, Horace, and everything. And I just thought it was really, really crazy that I didn't pick up on this until the last film, where this dude just popped up in every one of them. Another fun fact is that this was the highest grossing entry out of the entire series, making $150 million over its entire box office run, which is pretty monumental compared to all the other ones. Now, this is the entry that everyone kind of started, taking notice of Clint Eastwood's age and whatnot, but I honestly don't think that that's an issue with this film. This film, he's got his lived and worn out kind of weary feel, and it makes perfect sense, especially with the freaking 7-year hiatus and gap in this film. He's freaking talking trash and making mob bosses have heart attacks at their daughter's wedding. He's freaking dealing with mobsters. He's freaking serving out some justice to some dudes who ended up getting off because he didn't follow priest procedure and everything. I mean, you're not watching a Dirty Harry film because it's ethically correct. You're watching it to see him be a badass and do some badass shit. One of the things that I thought was really cool and kind of fun and a little bit of a turn too as well is that his .44 Magnum, he ends up switching the gun up. And the only time that he's ever switched the gun that he's used in any point in this film, which is due in large part because his original pistol, I think, was tossed away at one point. So he ended up using a actual cartridge-based .44, which is the .44 Auto Mag, I think it's called, for all you gun enthusiasts. And if I was wrong, please correct me down below in the comments. Another fun fact was that Pat Hingle, aka the original Jim Gordon from Batman '89 all the way up to Batman and Robin, actually was in this film as the police chief of the little, town or area that, Harry found himself in for his mandatory leave. It's always cool to see people that you recognize from other films in different contexts and different methods of acting, because this dude was the father of one of the people that ended up hurting and attacking and raping Jennifer Spencer. So, cover up? Can you say cover up? Yeah, definitely. But overall, again, getting back to my thoughts on the film in general, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really exactly what the franchise needed at this point in time, because you had the first 3 films, which got a little bit, tongue-in-cheek. This did away with that. It brought it down to a more down-to-earth kind of gritty roots method, as it were, and it paid off in spades. I mean, you feel the tension, you feel the suspense. I would say and argue that this is the best entry out of all these, or at least on the same level as the first one, as it were, as far as suspense and violence and shock value and whatnot, and especially in the matter of having the kind of killer be someone sympathetic that at the end of it, Harry kind of, recognizes that this person is actually kind of motivated properly, if we're doing everything on the merits of justice, which, he's always toeing the fine line of ethical and true justice. I mean, by the end of the film, you kind of understand where Jennifer Spencer's coming from, because everything kind of transpired as a result of her and her sister being attacked and raped and beaten, essentially, years ago by all the people that she's starting to kind of kill one by one. But overall, guys, this is another great entry in the Dirty Harry series. I highly recommend it if you're a Clint Eastwood fan or a Dirty Harry fan, or if you're a fan of cop thrillers and action movies, especially 80s cinema. Definitely up your alley. Clint Eastwood did a hell of a job directing, and he's usually a very, very awesome director in addition to being a fantastic actor. Shootouts, action, being an awesome dude, that's what you're there to see in a Dirty Harry movie. But anyway, guys, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me on another video on my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe if you dug the video, and if you are subbed, hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But until next time, guys, as always, I'm Jay, so take care, and bye.